There are moments in life when we believe that transformation requires something extraordinary. That to change our story, we must uproot everything and start over. But the truth is far simpler, far more beautiful. Transformation doesn't demand enormous sacrifices. It asks for intention, it asks for consistency, and it asks for time. Just 90 minutes a day. Think about it, we are given 440 minutes every single day, and out of all those moments, all that is needed to rewrite the course of your life is 90. That is less than 10% of your day. 90 minutes is not a burden. It is not an impossibility. It is a choice. A choice to value yourself, to value your future, and to value the life you dream of building. We often underestimate the power of small actions. We assume that success belongs to those who can give 10 hours a day, those who are endlessly talented, or those who are already privileged with opportunities. But I stand here to remind you that greatness is not built in marathons. It is built in sprints, repeated again and again. 90 minutes of pure focus, of undivided attention, can do more for your destiny than days filled with distraction. It is not about how much time you have. It is about what you do with the time you commit. Let me share this with you. Imagine you give 90 minutes every day to your growth. 90 minutes of learning a new skill, reading a book that challenges your perspective, working on your health, or practicing something that refines your craft. At first, the changes will be invisible. You may not notice anything in a week or even in a month. But time has a way of honoring effort. If you keep showing up, if you keep honoring those 90 minutes, something remarkable begins to happen. You evolve. You may not see it immediately, but others will. You begin to think differently, act differently, and slowly, without even realizing it, you become the person you once only imagined. And what makes these 90 minutes powerful is not just the action itself, but the message it sends to your soul that you matter, that your dreams matter, that your growth matters. You are teaching yourself to prioritize your future over temporary comfort, to choose long-term fulfillment over short-term distraction. That kind of discipline becomes the foundation of a stronger, more resilient you. I know many people will say, I don't have time. But let us be honest with ourselves. We do not lack time, we lack focus. How often do we spend hours scrolling through screens, hours caught in conversations that do not serve us, hours consumed by things that add no value to our lives? If we can give time to distraction, surely we can give 90 minutes to ourselves. And here is the beauty. Once you commit to these 90 minutes, the rest of your day begins to align. You carry a sense of accomplishment, a sense of clarity, and it influences how you live the remaining hours. 90 minutes is not just about building habits. It is about building identity. Every time you show up, you tell yourself that you are someone who takes control, someone who chooses growth, someone who refuses to waste the gift of time. And slowly, your life begins to mirror that belief. This is the power of 90 minutes. Not that it is a small fraction of your day, but that it is enough to change the course of your life when honored with sincerity and consistency. Motivation is a beautiful feeling, but it is also fleeting. It arrives like a spark, sudden, bright, and inspiring, but it fades just as quickly. If you try to build your life only on motivation, you will find yourself starting many things, but finishing very few. This is why those 90 minutes a day are not about how inspired you feel. They are about discipline. Discipline is the silent strength that carries you when motivation has vanished. It is the choice to show up even when you do not feel like it, to honor your promise to yourself, even when comfort tempts you to stay still. And it is discipline, not motivation, that builds the life you want. Think about this. How often have you felt motivated to wake up early, to exercise, to learn something new? That rush of energy feels powerful at first. But the next morning you are tired, the weather feels cold, or your mind whispers excuses. Motivation cannot fight those whispers for you. Only discipline can. Motivation is the spark, but discipline is the fuel that keeps the fire alive. Without discipline, the 90 minutes you promised yourself will become negotiable, optional, or forgotten. But with discipline, those 90 minutes become non-negotiable, like breathing, like eating. They become part of your identity. There is something liberating about choosing discipline. It frees you from the constant need to feel ready. Feel ready. You no longer wait for the perfect mood, the perfect time, or the perfect circumstance to act. You act because you have decided. And once you decide, you realize that progress does not depend on how you feel in the moment. It depends on the choices you repeat every day. Those choices, even when small, become your destiny. 90 minutes of disciplined effort every day may not look extraordinary, but over time, it shapes you into someone unrecognizable to your past self. Let me remind you of a truth: discipline is not punishment. It is not restriction. It is freedom. Freedom from regret, freedom from wasted potential, freedom from the pain of knowing you could have been more, but chose not to. Discipline is not about forcing yourself. It is about loving yourself enough to do what is necessary for your growth, even when it is difficult. That is the kind of self-respect that transforms a life. Every person you admire, every story of success you look up to, is not built on constant bursts of motivation. It is built on the quiet, consistent rhythm of discipline. The artist who paints daily, the athlete who trains despite exhaustion, the writer who writes, even when inspiration is silent. They are not carried by motivation, they are carried by discipline. They understand that the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is simply showing up again and again when most people stop. When you dedicate 90 minutes to your growth with discipline, you are planting seeds. Some days, those seeds may feel invisible, like nothing is happening. But the discipline to water them daily ensures they will bloom. And when they do, fear of losing health, money, you will realize that the harvest was not born from one day of excitement, but from countless days of choosing to stay committed. So remember, do not wait for motivation to arrive. Do not wait for the perfect conditions to start. Begin with discipline. Build a routine where those 90 minutes belong to you, no matter what the day throws at you. And once you master this, you will see that motivation often follows discipline, not the other way around. The spark will return, but now it will meet a steady flame that does not depend on fleeting feelings. That steady flame is what will build the life you want. 90 minutes at a time. When we think about giving 90 minutes of our day, many of us imagine dedicating it only to work, to hustling harder, to chasing achievements. But the truth is, those 90 minutes are not just about building a career or a dream. They are about investing in yourself, your mind, your body, and your spirit. Because if you neglect yourself, what good is success? If you achieve everything but lose your health, your peace, your sense of joy, then have you really built the life you want? Those 90 minutes become powerful only when you choose to use them for your own growth, not just for the world's applause. Let's begin with the mind. 90 minutes spent feeding your mind is like sharpening the tool you will use for the rest of your life. Read books that challenge you. Listen to voices that expand your perspective. Write your thoughts. Learn a new skill. Every minute you invest here adds to the strength of your future. A strong mind does not come overnight. It is built by daily input, by choosing knowledge over noise. Imagine the difference between spending 90 minutes scrolling through endless distractions and spending 90 minutes learning something that opens a new door in your life. Over time, the one who invests in their mind becomes a leader, a creator, a problem solver, while the one who wastes it remains stuck. But the mind alone is not enough. You must also give those 90 minutes to your body. Your body is the vehicle through which you live your dreams. And if you neglect it, even the greatest vision becomes impossible to achieve. Whether it is exercising, stretching, walking, or practicing any activity that brings energy and strength, that investment returns to you every single day. A healthy body carries a healthy mind. It gives you energy to show up, resilience to keep going, and confidence that reflects in every part of your life. Even 20 or 30 minutes of movement daily, within those 90 minutes, becomes an act of self-love, a promise to yourself that your well-being matters as much as your ambition. And then comes the spirit, the part of you that no one can see, but that everyone can feel. Reflection, prayer, meditation, gratitude, whatever nourishes your inner world must be part of your 90 minutes. Because when your spirit is strong, you can face storms with calm, you can find hope in darkness, and you can live with meaning instead of just survival. A strong spirit does not eliminate struggle, but it gives you the courage to rise again and again. And that, more than anything else, is what sustains the life you want to build. What makes these 90 minutes sacred is not just the routine, but the balance. When you give time to your mind, body, and spirit, you are not just chasing success. You are preparing yourself to hold it. You are not just running after dreams. You are strengthening yourself to enjoy them when they arrive. Because the truth is, success without health is misery, knowledge without peace is chaos, and ambition without energy is emptiness. So ask yourself, how are you spending your 90 minutes? Are you pouring them into distractions that leave you drained? Or are you investing them in becoming the best version of yourself? Remember, this is not about perfection. It is about intention. Every day you choose to invest in your mind, body, and spirit, you are not only moving closer to your dreams, you are building the foundation of a life that is rich, meaningful, and whole. 90 minutes a day is not just a routine, it is an act of self-respect. It is a reminder that the most important project you will ever work on is you. Excuses are easy to create because they sound so reasonable in our minds. We tell ourselves, I'm too busy, I'm too tired, or I'll start tomorrow. These excuses are comfortable. They give us a way out, a reason to avoid the discomfort of change. But if we are honest, excuses are the chains that keep us from building the life we dream of. 90 minutes a day is not impossible. It is only uncomfortable at first. The question is, will you let excuses dictate your destiny? Or will you break free from them and choose possibility? Think about it. How many times have you wanted to do something meaningful, but stopped yourself with the words, I don't have time? Yet the same day, you might have spent an hour scrolling through your phone, another hour lost in unnecessary conversations, or even longer indulging in distractions that add no value to your life. It is not a lack of time that holds us back. It is a lack of clarity about what truly matters. Excuses blur our vision. They convince us that circumstances are bigger than our willpower. But the truth is, excuses are nothing more than lies we tell ourselves to stay comfortable. When you decide to dedicate 90 minutes a day to your growth, you will face resistance, not from the world, but from within yourself. Your mind will whisper, what difference will 90 minutes make? Or, you deserve a break today. And if you listen, those excuses will win. But if you push past them, if you remind yourself that 90 minutes is a small price to pay for a better future, you will begin to see that possibilities were always within your reach. Excuses shrink your life, but commitment expands it. Breaking free from excuses is not about being harsh on yourself. It is about being honest with yourself. It is about admitting that while life will always present challenges, you still hold the power to choose how you spend your minutes. There will never be a perfect day when everything aligns, when time is abundant and energy is overflowing. Waiting for that day is the biggest excuse of all. The perfect moment is not ahead. It is here in the decision you make right now. And here is the beauty. Once you stop giving energy to excuses, you start giving energy to solutions. Instead of saying, I don't have 90 minutes, you ask, where can I create them? Maybe it means waking up earlier. Maybe it means reducing screen time. Maybe it means replacing idle moments with intentional ones. When you shift from excuse to possibility, your entire outlook changes. Suddenly, 90 minutes no longer feels like a burden. It feels like a gift you are giving yourself. Remember, excuses come dressed as comfort, but they leave you with regret. Possibilities come dressed as effort, but they leave you with growth. Every day you choose excuses, you are teaching yourself to settle for less. but every day you choose 90 minutes of focused effort, you are teaching yourself that you are capable of more. So, do not wait for life to remove the obstacles. Life will always have them. Instead, decide that no excuse is strong enough to steal your future. Choose to rise above your limitations. Choose to act even when it feels hard. Choose to believe that 90 minutes a day can rewrite your story. Because the only thing standing between you and the life you want is not lack of time, not lack of resources, but the excuses you are willing to let go of. And once you break free from them, the path forward becomes clearer than ever before. Transformation is often imagined as a sudden moment, a grand event that changes everything at once. We wait for that breakthrough, for that one opportunity that will finally turn our lives around. But life doesn't work like that. Real transformation is slow, steady, and often invisible in the beginning. It is not the result of one dramatic effort, but the outcome of small, consistent actions repeated over time. This is why those 90 minutes a day hold such power, because consistency turns ordinary minutes into extraordinary change. At first, you might give those 90 minutes and see nothing happen. You read a few pages, you practice a skill, you exercise for half an hour. And when you look in the mirror or at your results, nothing seems different. That is where most people stop. They think the effort isn't working, that the dream is too far, that they are wasting their time. But what they don't realize is that transformation is happening quietly beneath the surface. Just like seeds buried in the soil, growth is invisible before it is visible. It is patience and consistency that allow those seeds to break through the ground. The magic of 90 minutes lies in what happens when days turn into weeks and weeks into months. Each time you show up, you are laying another brick. A single brick may not look like much, but when placed one after another, a wall begins to rise. And when walls are built, they become foundations strong enough to hold your dreams. Consistency doesn't ask you to do everything at once. It asks you to do something small, every single day, without fail. That is where transformation is born. Consider this. If you spend 90 minutes every day learning a new skill, in a month you may feel like a beginner, but in 6 months you will feel competent. In a year, you may be better than most. In 2 years, you may be among the best. The difference between those who master their craft and those who abandon it is not talent, but consistency. 90 minutes is not about speed, it is about direction. It is the quiet commitment to stay on the path, even when progress feels slow. And there is something deeply empowering about consistency. It builds trust with yourself. Each day you honor those 90 minutes, you are proving to yourself that you can be relied upon. You stop being someone who makes promises and breaks them, and you become someone who follows through. That kind of trust is priceless. It strengthens your self-belief, it silences doubt, and it gives you the courage to aim higher, because you know you will do the work required. Transformation through consistency also teaches you humility. It reminds you that big changes are made of small efforts, that no step is too small as long as it is forward. It removes the pressure of perfection and replaces it with the power of progress. You no longer need to do everything in one day. You just need to do something every day. And in the end, it is the every day that changes you. So if you feel overwhelmed by the distance between where you are and where you want to be, focus not on the miles, but on the minutes. Give yourself 90 minutes. Not once, not occasionally, but every single day. Do it on the days you feel strong, and especially on the days you feel weak. Because it is on those days that consistency matters most. Over time, those 90 minutes will not just change your routine, they will change your identity. And once your identity shifts, your life will follow. Transformation is not about waiting for the right moment. It is about creating the right moments daily. And if you can give yourself 90 minutes with unwavering consistency, one day you will look back and realize you are no longer the same person. You will see that every small effort was a step in the silent, powerful journey of becoming. Life is like a book, and every day we are handed a blank page. The question is, who holds the pen? Too often, we let others write our story. Society, expectations, circumstances, even our fears. We follow a script we never chose, living a life that doesn't truly belong to us. But those 90 minutes a day are your opportunity to reclaim the pen, to become the author of your own life. When you dedicate that time to yourself, you are not just building habits, you are writing the story of who you want to be. Think of it this way: if your life were a novel, would you be proud of the chapter you are living right now? Would it reflect your dreams, your values, your courage? Or would it sound like a story where the main character is stuck, waiting for something to change? The truth is, no one else is coming to rewrite your pages for you. No one else can live your dreams, walk your path, or carry your potential. That responsibility and that privilege belongs to you. And it begins with how you use the gift of time, especially those 90 minutes each day that can shape the entire narrative of your life. When you commit those 90 minutes, you are declaring that you are not a background character in your own story. You are the lead. You are choosing to stop surviving and start creating. Every minute you spend learning, growing, moving, reflecting, you are writing a line that says, I chose to rise. I chose to build. I chose to live with intention. Over time, those lines add up. And soon your book no longer reads like a story of waiting. It reads like a story of becoming. Being the author of your life also means embracing both the triumphs and the struggles. Every good story has challenges, obstacles, and moments of doubt. But what makes a story powerful is not that it is free of pain, but that the character chooses to grow through it. Your 90 minutes each day are your way of saying, I may not control everything, but I control my effort. I may not write every circumstance, but I will write my response. That is where true strength lies, in authorship, not in avoidance. And here is something beautiful. Once you begin to write your own story, you stop comparing it with others. You realize that every book is different, every timeline unique. Someone else's chapter 20 may look brighter than your chapter 5. But that does not mean your story is less valuable. It simply means you are still unfolding, still discovering what your next chapter will hold. The key is to keep writing, to keep showing up for yourself in those 90 minutes, even when the plot feels uncertain. Because the most powerful stories are not the ones that go smoothly. They are the ones that keep moving forward despite everything. So ask yourself today, what kind of author do you want to be? Do you want to live your life as a story written by excuses, by procrastination, by fear? Or do you want it to be a story of courage, of growth, of transformation? Built one day, one page, 190-minute chapter at a time. When the final pages of your life are written, may you look back and see a story worth telling, not because it was perfect, but because it was yours. And may you remember that the power to write it was always in your hands, hidden inside those 90 minutes, a day that could change everything.